I assume that's recording to the cloud, right? This time? Don't know how you can tell.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Do you want me to do it again to make sure?
Well,
because I think that's what I've done. But do you want me to do that again?
well,
You
I don't
do,
know
don't
whether
you?
I don't know whether you have a choice to record to the cloud.
Oh no, no, it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
If I click on the button, it does tell me.
Ah, cool. Great.
You've heard me speak about this a lot, and you've heard other speakers speak about this. There is no this. This is not a thing. This is not the all-encompassing thing. This is not one thing. The absolute thing. The ultimate thing. This is just a word used to, in a feeble attempt to express what's happening, simply life as it is, whatever seems to be going on. It's not a secret, this. This isn't hiding. Oh, where did he come from? This is just what's happening. And what's happening is just what seems to be happening. What seems to be going on. And the illusion is that you need to know what's going on for there to be what's going on. You don't. You'd never know. Knowing is illusory. It's the illusion that keeps me alive. I live in knowledge. I live on knowledge. The truth is that no one knows. That's the great equality. That's the freedom. That's the peace and rest in not needing to know, not having to know in order to be okay. The truth is, I don't know. And the peace and the rest is in that simple not knowing. Not knowing isn't a thing. It's just how life is. Life is simply unknowable. With virtually all human beings pretending that they know. I know where I am. I know who I am. I know what I am. And from that illusion, comes the illusion that I can know others. I know myself, so I know you. I know this that I've called myself. And so I know that. And that is always separate from this. You are always separate from me. There really is no this and that. It seems that while there is a sense of my separation from everything else, from everyone else, that I could get closer, that I could move towards this. That I'm on a journey, on a path to somewhere, even though I haven't got a clue where I'm going. What we're speaking of is the end of the journey that never begun, and so it doesn't end. This is always beginning as it ends. Ending and beginning are not two. It's very simple and obvious. You can really never find a beginning or an ending. And nothing in between. And then you may, if it becomes obvious, then you'll just smile of everyone's story of their beginning. And that they're in between at the moment. Life is in between birth and death. It's really very simple that there is no existence, or there are no separate existences. And in that, there is no existence. There is nothing standing apart. Separate me's and you's. Apart from this. This doesn't have any parts. Nor is it one big part, one singular. And it may not make sense that not knowing is love, but there it is. There is a violence in knowing. knowing always separates, tears apart. Pushes away. So if you'd like to ask a question or share anything, then by all means put your hand up, or just write. If you don't want to speak, then just write something in the chat.
David, go ahead.
Hello, Tim.
Hi, David.
Hi. No show without punch. That's me. Just no, just what you're talking about. Just to raise something, I'll throw it at you as some raw meat to be kicked around. It was reminiscent of something which I don't think you'll agree with, but for me it has resonances, and it's our old pal Nisargadatta. And I might be misquoting him, but I think at one point he says, I am, well, you're going to disagree with that immediately, but in the round, I am the total functioning, which is an expression I really liked, actually. The total functioning. You're not going to like it, but I don't think it's a million miles away from what you...
Well, no, I'm not going to like it a lot, no.
Yeah. You're wrong, of course.
Well, you can't be wrong. Likes,
exactly.
Likes and dislikes are just what they are. No, I can't say I like it. It doesn't.
Just doesn't.
But if he says I am immediately, I don't know. That's.
Well, but the thing is, without being pedantic, I mean, the implication, but more than the implication, is that you're not.
Well, the thing is,
I am the total function. I mean, it's a one. Come on, you're into paradoxes.
Yeah, I know.
I apologize on his part for getting it so wrong. But,
you really don't have to apologize on behalf of Nisargadatta. I think he can defend himself just because he's dead. Don't use that as an excuse.
Yeah. I think it's amazing
the total functioning. Yeah, I mean, I have no. I sort of can intellectualize what he means, but it has no resonance whatsoever.
Yeah.
I just don't. It don't because he's put "I am" on the front.
I hope I haven't misquoted him, but it is interesting.
If you've misquoted him, you're thrown out of the Nisargadatta.
I know that's right. But it's interesting how different. This is just stating the obvious. How different expressions have different resonances for different apparent people.
Yeah.
When I, you know, I'm just a foot soldier here, but that for me stops the mind completely, whether I want that to happen or not. It's completely unworkable, outable, but I'm definitely not in there. That's for sure. That is for sure. So, you know, job done in a way. But for other people, it just looks smooth.
Yeah. Well, again, you can never know how words are received. No.
Yeah. Complete waste of time.
Yeah. No, it's true. The complete functioning, is that it?
Total.
total, complete.
Yeah, total.
Total.
I suppose all you're saying is
well, the thing is, I mean, I just get all the flavor, the whole flavor of that. All I feel, the sense I get of it is just this whole notion of the self, capital S.
But if it's everything, it can't. It doesn't exist. That's what it's saying. I am the total functioning is everything. Okay. So yeah.
Oh yeah, then I don't mind it. You see, you put that caveat, and I go, oh yes. but I don't have any.
It's just curious of what you've said. I mean, it was very, eloquently put. If I can patronise you,
I don't mind that. I'd much rather you patronise me than Nisargadatta.
But to me, the resonance was the same, But as I say, I'm a humble foot soldier.
Yeah, I know. Well, I hope you don't think I'm not, but there you go. No, I mean, I'm not.
It's the business of trying to nail down.
You know that I do actually make some effort not to criticize the great and the wise. I just think there's no reason to. But speaking from I am has never resonated at all here, and so and that's just how it is. That doesn't make it right in any way, and doesn't make it wrong in any way. But it just doesn't.
Yeah, sure. But my take on it is that the I am just explodes. It just completely self-destructs, followed by the total functioning. You go, what? I'm everything. Not me.
Oh yeah. I see. Once you explain it to me, I'm fine. I think I'm a bit too literal. So now you've explained it, I quite like it.
Anyway, all power to you. Thank you very much.
I'd much prefer it if he said I am exploded. Yeah, that would be all right.
Must have been the Vindaloo I had last night.
But just the
Anyway, thank you, Tim. Thanks.
Oh, thanks.
In chat, Esben says, how would you describe resonance? What was it like for you when seeking? And does resonance disappear when the self disappears?
Well, there's quite a few questions there.
Yeah. How would you describe resonance?
How would I describe resonance? Well, that's not easy. I'm going to describe resonance. Bloody hell. Give me a dictionary. It's resonant. How I use the word, it's a felt sense of yes. There we go. That's what resonance would be. A felt sense of yes. Not knowing why. So rather than an intellectual dissection of what's been heard or what's been read, resonance is often contrary or contradictory to the intellectual understanding, or requires none. The resonance is quite often despite the words, regardless of understanding.
And
so in that sense, you can't know resonance. You can't know resonance, but it's known without any knowing. Oh, this is my description. What, for what it's worth.
And does it disappear when the self disappears?
No. Do you know what disappears when self disappears? Fuck all. Because that's what self is. I mean, we can wrap it up in spiritual language of, you know, illusory and not spiritual language, but, you know, poetic language, but non-existent. So in the absence of something that was non-existent, what has been lost? That is what we're speaking of, that there is nothing to lose, apart from what you fear most to lose, which is not already. And so nothing is lost. So resonance happening. If resonance seems to be happening to me or not, is resonance happening? Yeah. It won't be anywhere as significant. I might suggest that. It won't be anywhere as near as significant as you're making it or I made it when it was my resonance. That's fucking important because it means something. It means I'm getting somewhere and I'm on the right track. Fucking thank God, I haven't felt any resonance for a week or so now. Oh, resonance. Yes, now I'm on the path. It means nothing. Isn't that wonderful? It's pleasant. It's a pleasant experience, but it's utterly meaningless because the whole story of resonance is that resonance means it's true. It's reality as opposed to the normal bullshit that I'm listening to. And there's nothing self likes more than that story of the significance of resonance. Resonance, along with everything else, is absolutely insignificant. Isn't that great news? Now, it's not great news for the seeker who has asserted that he's getting somewhere, that she's on the right path and has been longing to feel a bit more resonance. I would say resonance is like eating biscuits. It's pleasant. But a hobnob may well give more satisfaction. Yeah, don't read too much into it.
Espen says thanks.
I think, again, really all resonance is preference. It's not your preference, but the trouble with self is that it's my preference. So, and of course, what I prefer, I make right and correct when it's simply liking strawberry ice cream more than vanilla. Seems here I don't like I am at the front of any non-duality quote. Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything at all. So it's the dog just trying to get in. Hold on. Oh, the dog's in. The dog's in. The dog's. Oh, no, he's in. He's come to sit with me.
Nice.
Hold on. There we go. You come to see me. Yeah. Lindy wants to see the dog. Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Lindy wants to see the dog. Hold on. Always tricky. Wait a minute. Oh, hold on.
Oh. Oh.
Oh, what a sweetie.
Lift the camera up a little bit. Oh, there. Oh, look at his face. Her face.
It's Teddy.
Oh, sweet. Lift the camera up a little bit more.
Sorry.
Just a little up. There we go. There we go.
How very lovely. I lost mine a few weeks ago. So like any dog energy coming my way is really welcome just now. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, I could let Teddy do the rest of the meeting if you wanted. And then I could do my UG quote.
Yeah.
Just Teddy barking.
Esmond says, if this isn't about understanding, if this is not about understanding, couldn't we just as well be talking about the weather or football?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Of course.
So
The whole illusion is that, you know, there are some topics that are worth talking about and others that are trivial and insignificant. When again, all we're talking about is what we call personal preference, which is just each human being's preference, what it enjoys. There are a lot of human beings who love talking about the weather.
Can I just throw in a quick one too? My last contribution, but I can't resist it.
Go on.
It's just along these lines. I think it's beautiful. You can talk about music and that and all that a lot, but as you maybe heard me say before, for me it's in pop music, and it's a bit more powerful actually, although it is only words. But Joni Mitchell talks about each so deep and superficial between the forceps and the stone.
Ooh.
Each person being so deep and superficial between the forceps as birth and the stone.
Oh, lovely.
Isn't it?
Mm.
Whole song's like that. Every single line's like that.
No, that's lovely.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah, it leaves needs a good understanding actually, but there we are.
No, because, yeah, that's gorgeous because we're talking about superficial and infinite depth not being two.
Correct.
So the surface, which we take to be just the material superficial, and of course there must be hidden depths. There must be more.
She's saying it's just a way of passing the time really between apparent birth and death.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's lovely.
She was on it, totally. Completely. I mean, no question. It's frightening.
Yeah, because there's seeming passing the time. There is no time, but there's seeming passing the time. There is no one passing the time, but there's seemingly human beings passing the time. Life is incredibly simple. Because it simply is as it is. You won't know how it is, this as it is. You won't know why. You can make up stories, whatever you want, and you can have stories that resonate with you and you like those stories. Just lovely stories or dreadful stories. And non-duality is just another story, but it is the story that stories are just stories. So in that sense, it is slightly different. This isn't saying this is the right story, this story that's being told. There is some non-duality that says what is being spoken is the truth and is reality. I've heard some of that. I think I've frozen, have I? Oh no, just a little bit slow. But that's not what wants to be this. That's not the story that's being told here. The story that's being told here is that it's all stories in the telling. Whatever isn't a story can't be told. But here it is anyway. In the telling of it, of course it's a story.
Hans has his hand up.
Hi, Hans.
Hi, Tim. Oh, nice to see you. This is really the last few days I watched this new series from Amazon is online in different ways, connected with a new form with other non-duality speakers. And whenever they start, whatever they start, I know it out of the, I know it all. I know the questions, I know the answers. It is, Sylvester started also saying very clearly, non-duality is a concept. It's so clear that it's just a fucking concept and I can't hear the words anymore. When we're talking about here, that's the only difference right now, because I see just your face on the screen and I see the glowing, I see the aliveness, I see the juice, I see this very subtle smile, and I simply love it. And that is the answer. There is no question. Even if you now start answering to some, was it before David who told the story about his beautiful stories? I love it. Where he takes it always from. They're so from the heart. I love it very much. but it stays a story. In the same time, there is this aliveness that needs no words, that needs no storytelling. And there's no difference. It's both just one thing. And it's so ordinary. It's so simple. I don't know how to differentiate.
Oh, well, words fail.
I really enjoy it. And I'm happy that that flows right now, because I have a little bit difficulties with the English language, you know. But not
your
now.
English is really good, Hans.
In that way, yet now, yeah. When I listen to English-speaking people, that is their home tongue or language, then it takes more time to adjust, to get it, what is going on there, you know. And this is not the case right now, because now I'm talking. and that I'm very used to when I talk with you alone. So this is the first time, hello, everybody who is there right now, that I talk in this very intimate and loving group who is around you in the talks.
Oh, thanks, Hans.
I enjoy that very much, because it's so different. It's not here's no question really, and no really answer about what is going on, called non-duality world.
No.
And that is what I love, and that I want to share. Thank you very much, Stephen.
Oh, thanks, Hans. No, I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Mm-hmm.
No, that is lovely. Well, the thing is, I'm not interested in any conceptual discussion. I've got no interest in it. That seemed to die.
Yeah, I agree. Say like this, because it's really also dying very quickly, easily away right now.
Mm-hmm.
I could say personally, I can't really hear it anymore. But yeah, okay.
Thanks, Hans.
Thank you also.
No, because if what we're speaking of, it means anything, or the word liberation, freedom, the freedom is from the one who needed to know, who wanted to get it right. There must be, you know, there have been so many speakers speaking of non-duality or whatever else however you framed this verbally or intellectually, that there must be a way, and that there is somewhere to get to. There is a place. There is a place of being, or a place of understanding, or a place of knowing, or a place of, there is a place where that's reachable. And although it sounds lacking in compassion, the whole love and compassion of this message is that there is no possibility. The impossibility is love. Ellis.
Hi. So I've been at a social event the last couple of days.
I've seen you've been to Stoke Mandeville.
Oh, God, yeah, right?
I saw you were there. I thought that looked brilliant.
Yeah, it was really brilliant. But in some respects, when I'm in that very normal environment, I just feel like such an odd fish. I mean, like, I just don't know how I'm relating at the moment to anything really. So I'm feeling like almost social anxiety, but it's not exactly social anxiety, but it's just like,
yeah,
I just don't know how to relate to people right now.
No. That sounds familiar.
It feels like wobbly or something, like everything inside is just like, not that it's quite inside, but the experience just feels a bit like wobbly or something.
Well,
And it's a little bit tearful, do you know what I mean? But
yeah,
in a way, I just can't put my finger on like what's going on quite. Yeah.
I know. And of course, it's only a story, but it can seem to take some getting used to, Alice.
Yeah, just stay with,
I mean,
just stay with that. Be okay with that, right? Because it is like not. But at the same time, I'm like a bit quieter, really. Yeah. But yeah, there's just this sense of like just not knowing quite the situation as I even may have known. I guess that's it, really. It's because
I think you've answered your own question. There it is. Yeah. Because the not knowing can seem to take some getting used to. You know, having known it's me speaking and I know who I am and I know the place I'm coming from. And so that's where I'm relating from. So when that's absent, that just seems, you know, the emptiness seems to take some getting used to. I mean, there isn't anything to fear from it, but it can, I wouldn't be at all surprised if there's, you know, as you say, there's some anxiety in it. And like you say, it's not really anxiety. It's just like, well, I don't seem to know what to do in this situation. Well, that's always the truth. You know, no one knows what to do. That's why self holds on to itself so dearly, because self gives the illusion to itself that I know what to do in a given situation. You never did. You never.
No, I never. I'm not someone that really did anyway.
No, and when you said about being quieter, that makes sense as well.
And it's almost like I'm playing by myself in a way. That's how it feels a little.
Well, there we go. Aren't we all?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit sacrilegious to say it in a non-duality meeting, but aren't we all playing by ourselves?
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, of course we are.
It's not known. You don't know, do you? Well, I don't know.
No, but you don't need a self to be playing by yourself. No.
Yeah.
Well, the whole illusion is that, you know, what's the story? The story that self tells is that I'm playing with these others. Sometimes I play by myself and sometimes I play with others. No. You could say, I mean, words are so inadequate, but there's just this playing with itself. Sounds a bit like masturbation, I have to say. When I've said it, it came out wrong.
Interesting. Well, not interesting, but yeah, thanks.
But I will. It does. Not knowing does seem to take some getting used to. I mean, that doesn't make any sense, but it does seem to, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Tim.
Oh, no, thank you. That's, yeah. I love it when you say, you know, when you're in, you know, with normal people or in a normal environment rather than these, you know, this weird environment that we're in, with these, with fellow strange folks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but I would say it will get much easier. You won't, and it'll be so you wouldn't even notice. It's only in contrast to the memory of, oh, I remember last time I was with these people, or last time I was in a situation like this, it felt like this. Well, it doesn't feel like that anymore.
I would have been a performer. I would have been almost like really confident, but now I'm like, I just don't know what I'm doing. That's what it's like. I just don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, there you go. You've hit the nail right on the head there. You haven't got a clue what you're doing.
No, not at all, no. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not like I've heard speakers go, well, maybe it's just because I'm just in whatever is happening right now. But they go, it's stunning. What this is stunning, but I'm not exactly getting that either. But or, you know, like they talk of like an experience of being really like exquisite or something, but I'm not really getting that either. If anything, there's a lot of neutrality.
Well, well, every human being is absolutely unique, and you know, it's experienced through a unique human being. And so, yeah,
I want the stunning still, though. I want the stunning.
Well, you know, you're getting what you're getting, Alice, whether you want stunning or not. The stunning is the
right.
I mean, the only reason you're missing it, seemingly, is because you've made, you know, the ordinary is not the stunning. Well, of course it is.
Yeah.
You know, this mundane, ordinary neutrality that you're talking about. That's the stunning.
Yeah.
That's the wonder.
Yeah, I suppose it is really.
That's the joy. You know all the language that spirituality has used down the millennia.
Well, it's none of that.
No, exactly. That's what you can see why you're not getting it.
Yeah, I can. Yeah,
you're so in that. Well, that can't. What this?
Yeah.
This ordinary shit, mundane, neutral, nothing really happening, emptiness. Surely that's not what they meant. Well, if that's all there is, that must be what they meant.
Yeah. Yes, in on those terms, yes, it's undeniable that anything else could be.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense, though. Then none of the other stuff makes sense. No wonder I'm struggling in social situations.
No,
do you know what I mean?
No. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's funny, you know, because I think it's very obvious from speaking to you how obvious it is. And yet, of course, there's still the story of, yeah, but this can't be what they're speaking of.
Well, of course, because that's the story. I get that. Yeah, of course.
Well, they're just telling their story.
Yeah. It's almost nothing. It's almost like it's so perplexing, really, what remains in a way to the storyteller or something. It's very perplexing. It's almost like, oh, that's when I get slight pressure behind my eyes when the storyteller gets seen more clearly or something. It's not even that exactly, but there's almost like there's a slight pressure back. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
It's like the game is up. Then.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The game's up. You're done for. You're done for. Really, that's it. That's, you know, the illusion is seen through, or whatever description you want. But
yeah.
And of course, it does leave this.
I always thought I'd have a perfect life. You know, I've been trying to rush it to try and make the perfect life happen. So
my mother promised
me.
I
for that. I want it to be tidy and everything. I want it to be organised.
Right. Yeah, that won't help.
Yeah. Thanks, Tim. Thanks. I really appreciate this space. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Alice. No, I appreciate that as well. That's really you've hit a lot of nails right on the head about that, how no matter what, the story comes back, this can't be it. Oh, well, this isn't what they've spoken of. I've read the poetry, you know, I've read Rumi. This can't be. Well, you're not bloody Rumi.
That's so true. I'm so not Rumi.
You're not Rumi, are you?
That's right. That is so right.
This is absolutely I mean, it's hugely paradoxical. This is the absolute death of the possibility of escaping what you've wanted to escape from, which is being the human being. It's not you being the human being the human being. Forget about names, forget about story, just being the fuck ordinary human being that you are. You're not that human being, but that's all there is, this being human. This is the absolute, the only death is the death of the possibility of escaping being this human being. That's liberation. That's freedom. That's love. That's peace and rest for this bastard who kept saying constantly, this can't be all that there is, and I need to get somewhere else because this can't be it. This ain't it. I'm certain of that. Well, it is. It is. Shit, beautiful, mundane, glorious, ugly, dreadful, wonderful, all of it.
But it's not personal.
No, it's never personal.
But that's the difference, isn't it? That's the real absolute difference to it.
And it's
not absolute's not the right word, but
it's no difference, and it's all the difference in the world. This life was never about you. It's dreadful. It's the last thing you ever want to hear. I know you pretend you want to hear it. Self never wants to hear that. It can tell a story that, oh yeah, I've resonated with some non-dual speakers and this is what I want. This is not what you want. You want to find your own fulfillment for yourself, with all, which includes all the wonderful stories of bliss and ecstasy and joy for you, for me, for myself. And that's
I guess over time, actually, even the story of me will evolve into a more easeful one, I would have thought. Does that, you know what I mean? I think you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Maybe,
yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Because there's a great sense of okayness with this, but there's at the same time there's like something else going on, like fallout from something else or something.
Well, it's old habits die hard, you know, particularly habits of, you know, habitual thinking, habitual storytelling.
I'm quite lucky that I'm not so bright. Do you know what I mean? I'm like okay bright, but not like really bright. So
you think that's a
I think it's a bit helpful. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
only the thick and stupid become enlightened.
I'm not a great overthinker. I don't think anyway. You know, I'm not necessarily one of those.
Well, if it's any consolation, Alice, I mean, don't use this as, you know, thinking that you're going to get enlightened, but I am at best mediocre in terms of intellectual ability. This has nothing to do with the intellect, so it's of no.
That's right. Yeah, nothing at all.
No.
None of that makes sense.
No.
Yeah. Thanks, Tim.
Oh, thanks, Alice. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. It was good.
Thank you.
Well, we've got a few minutes, perhaps 5-10 minutes. If anyone else has got anything else, is there anything in the chat, Darren? No?
No.
I did say the other week that I was thinking of going to London, advertising about a week before, and going to do a talk on Hampstead Heath. For real.
When?
Because I like the idea of it. But I've looked
When?
at, well, in the next 2 weeks, but I've looked at the forecast for the next 2 weeks. And today looked about the only good day, and I haven't done it today. So
I'm in London. I'm in London Tuesday night to Wednesday at 8 o'clock.
Alice, this isn't a dating site.
Oh, I didn't mean it like that.
No, I know. I'm teasing.
I'm quite asexual. I'm like quite a non-sex person.
We don't have to be sex involved in a date. You're getting presumptuous.
So are you.
It's true. Touche.
No, I'm just saying I am in London. I am in London. Yeah, anyway.
I was thinking of doing a talk, but what I was meant to say was that the weather forecast is so crap that I'm not going to do them.
Oh, I'll hold an umbrella.
Not at the moment, anyway. Maybe sometime.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Well, I like the word resignation. No one resigns. It's much worse than me resigning. But there is a kind of peace with that word. No longer striving. No desperation. A great ease. That's impossible to communicate. I'm always trying to talk about the real difference is that life is so much easier without me. I was the burden. And you could say a burden to whom or a burden to what? Well, there's no answer to that, but burden nonetheless. Oh, I've just seen there's a question from Rob.
Yeah.
Tim, if it's not intellectual, would it be fair to say the me is a bit juvenile in its thinking or desires? Right. If the human being is a little juvenile in its sense of humor, and it's the way it thinks, then that's juvenile. That's nothing to do with me. Same as everything else has nothing to do with me. The whole illusion is that being juvenile is me. And no, I tell you what me is, not juvenile, is fearful, is afraid. That's what I am. I am fear. I am is always afraid for my own safety, my own security, my own life. That's what we're talking about freedom from. That's all illusory. There is no one to be afraid for. And in that, it's not the absence of all fear, but it is pretty much, if there's no one to be afraid for, fear doesn't appear. So freedom from fear, not natural fear, but, you know, my neurotic fear, my fear that I might get it wrong. That's probably number one on most selves' list of fears: anxiety, neuroses, fear that I won't succeed, fear that I won't get it right, that I won't fulfill my potential, all of those bullshit stories about me and my life. Okay, well, thanks very much for coming, everybody. Thanks to Darren for co-hosting as usual.
You're welcome.
Nice to have you back.
Yeah, nice to see you. Nice to see everyone.
I appreciate everyone coming. If you feel like donating, you can donate at, just go to Tim Cliss This and click on donate. Any donations are gratefully received. And Jim says, here's a plug for Tim's book. Oh, thanks, Jim. Jim, you've got it wrong. Jim, this Deafening Silence, obviously. It's a fun read. Yeah, I hope you find it fun. It was written to be lighter than most, not a heavy tone, not a heavy read. And it's also written to that you could just open it anywhere, and there's no narrative in the book. You could say there's no structure to it. Rob Jamil says, is there another way? Yes, you can give me cash, Robert. Jim, this Deafening Silence. Yes, thank you. I have had a few people who don't like PayPal or don't use PayPal. So I was thinking of putting my bank details on the website, on the donate page. Is there a problem with doing that, Darren?
I don't think so.
No. So I will do that because people might prefer to do that.
Yeah, I'll look into that. I'll let you know.
By the way, yeah. So yeah, great. Thank you very much for coming, everybody, and maybe see you next Thursday. If you did want a one-to-one, then by all means just go to Tim Cliss This website and you can book a one-to-one, and you can book the time that suits you. My availability is on there. I do charge for that, but that's for an hour of my time. For what it's worth. Thanks very much for coming, everybody. Lovely to see you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Bye.
Tim. Thanks, Tim.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Tim.
Bye.
Bye-bye, Tim.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
Thank you, Darren.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Ciao, ciao.